Okay. Well, welcome to the Quixotic Heights, where we celebrate bold stories and quiet courage that shaped extraordinary lives. I'm your host, Amy M. Lee, and today we're joined by Wen Hsu, founder of Wen Coaching. And she is amazing. She's redefining what authentic leadership looks like. Wen helps high achievers navigate their careers without abandoning who they truly are, empowering them to lead from a place of alignment and not fear. So, in this conversation, we're going to explore the power of embracing layered identities, the challenges of visibility as an introvert, and how each of us can live at our own quixotic heights, one brave step at a time. So, with that, welcome, Wen, to Quixotic Heights. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. I'm good. Thank you so much, Amy, for the intro. I'm excited.
I'm excited too because we met a little over a year ago and had our little discovery intro call. But I really want to learn more about you, and I think you have inspiring stories to share for our listeners. So to start off, do you want to tell us a little bit about your Quixotic Heights dream?
I gotta be honest. Like you mentioned, I basically like live in dual culture, right? So I'm a first generation Taiwanese American, and then so there I'm like navigated both like Taiwanese slash like Asian culture where I should be humble, right?
Mm-hmm.
And whereas like in the corporate America, I learned I need to be outspoken. So when I first actually even think about, oh, what's my big dream, what's my moments, I almost feel like, what is it?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then as I think a little bit deeper, I realize for me it's um hard to say like what's that one moment, but I feel like it is actually the building up of like until I would see like there are a few like milestones that I step more and more right into actually like showing who I really am and then doing what I really want. So the first one would be, actually as an introvert, I never thought of myself being a leader. I'm
Mm-hmm.
always like, hey, let me just hide, behind the computer. And then I challenged that part of me and became an engineering leader and leading like a fairly big team for a few years. And that to me is the first, I would say, kind of rewrite of what my old belief to really create new possibilities for myself. And the second one would it for me was even like navigating, hey, if I don't continue to work in the tech industry as engineering leader for years, like what can I do, right? I only know this thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I want like more fulfillment, more meanings to my work. So as I start exploring, I discover coaching for myself. It's been so impactful for me. So like the second thing I would say actually is to quit my job, even
Mm-hmm.
without like having the next thing. My future was unknown, but I learned to have the courage to even like give myself that time to be with myself, to really like learn and explore. And at that time I really explored maybe like up to like five like career paths to actually try it out to see if I like it or not. So it's the first time I really like step into the unknown, like um almost like all in, and let's see what this bring me. And luckily, I think because of my own experience being coached is being transformative, I started to have this idea, hey, if my meaning, when I was back in the corporate world is to really help people advance their career. Like, can I actually do this full time, right? As a career and leadership coach. And I didn't know much about it, but I was so open and willing to learn. And so I actually started kind of like experiment, even like dry run, like in the tech world, it will be like, hey, you actually get your toes dirty, try it out before you actually do it, right?
Yep.
And that experience for me had been so great. I was like, feel like I was high the whole time when I was receiving the coaching training. So I made the mental note, okay, I think coaching it is for me. And I still went back to the job market after I settled on that coaching being my second career, because I also did like information interviews where others told me, hey, it's actually better for you to like have a job on the side while you build out your coaching skill, build out your network, things like that. And that actually fits perfectly for my like very practical cultural background. I'm like, oh, okay, right. I can actually take my time without having to worry about money, right? And then while I really build up my coaching business on the side. And even at that time, I didn't even think about like having coaching to be my main source of income. Like working in tech, my thought always was like, oh, let me work for another like 8, 10 years. Then,
Mm-hmm.
get to like financial independence. Then maybe I can quit my job, tech job, and actually do what I love, right?
Yes.
And then, of course, universe has its own plan. Like I got laid off during COVID,
Mm,
and I was like, okay, I have a choice now. Like, do I want to go back to the tech world? The economy was actually still pretty good back then. But then I have this like urge, and also in a way like distaste, like in my mouth, in a way that, hey, like experience experiencing the tech world as an immigrant woman, that hasn't been the greatest, right?
mm,
So I think what gave me the clarity back then was when I really think deeper into, hey, what when I reach financial freedom, what kind of life do I want for myself? And that was I want to actually coach more, not just nights and weekend when I have a full-time job. And I want to be with my family more. As an immigrant, the most I see my family was like 2 weeks out
mm,
of a year, and that has been like 20 plus years, and that's definitely not enough for me, right? So I want to be with my family more, and I have passion for travel, for like learning new culture, so I want to be able to work from anywhere. So with that clarity, I was like, wait a minute, does that mean if I start coaching full time now, then I can actually have that life, right? Instead of
yeah.
waiting for another, 8 to 10 years. And so I knew I had been coaching on the side at that time. So I knew people are willing to pay for my coaching service. But I have no idea, like, what does it mean to, like, I don't know, run a business. It's very
Yep.
different kind of mindset. But as I have the clarity, and I thought, like, let me just give it a try and see what happened. I gave myself 3 years um, to see if I can, like sustain myself. Then I will probably never come back. And this year was is actually my fourth years, so I
Mm-hmm.
already passed the point of no return. I'm like, oh my god, I cannot believe right now I get to wake up every day and like live the life that I really want. Now I go back to Taiwan for like minimum like 6 weeks out of a year. Yeah, so to me this is like dream come true. As of course it has its own like ups and downs, tons of learnings, but I would say like each of these milestones really build up my confidence in
Mm,
terms of like really making the choice that's aligned with who I am, and I show up even more boldly every time I make a decision. And also like believing that I can create the life that I really want now, like not,
yeah.
waiting for like someday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. You're so brave because, it's like, it's interesting that we get settled in our lives and we don't make those bold steps until we are forced to.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes those are blessings in disguise, right? Like you being laid off during the pandemic. Um, However, it also takes someone who is in tune with themselves to be able to see opportunities
Mm-hmm.
and seize the opportunity, right? Because when that door closed, you actually opened up a window, you peeked in and you're like, yeah, I think I'm gonna crawl through that and step through it and see. And you gave yourself a 3-year milestone.
Yeah.
So congratulations on 4 years. I'm giving
Thank you.
myself 5 years. I'm doing the slow struggle bus crawl right now to get to
Yeah.
my Quixotic Heights dream. But one thing that so as you were talking, I was looking behind you, and and I don't know if that's a virtual screen, but it says leap, play, love.
Yeah.
Interestingly, I mean, I 100% agree with that, but what does that mean to you, the leap, play, and love?
Oh, thank you for noticing.
Yeah.
I will almost say those three becomes what I'm creating. Like I defined what's possible for me this year, right? As I'm like in fourth year of my business, I'm going to leap.
Mm,
I'm not going to just say, hey, that's cranking the hours, right? All the efforts and time to create my business. I might know, right? As much as I have involved, I want this year to be the year I really feel like my business, can leap forward in a way that I can create even bigger impact, right? I can, and the play really now is my main business strategy. So I'm so happy that you asked that because I think especially like I spent 15 plus years in the corporate America, and especially in the later several years, I was like leading teams. So there are a lot of when I say like dual culture, right? The hustling culture, I think like especially very prominent in Asia, and I think one thing I learned for myself and others, my clients are mostly also like immigrant women leaders. One thing I think like the cultural conditioning is so strong. We feel like we need to work so hard, and we feel like we need to be like excellent in everything, right? And that builds our like external reputation, and that's where I see like including myself and others like really like lean on external validation so much, where like we just keep doing and doing and doing and doing, right? So and not mention like in the tech industries even more, right? The burnout is so it's like I almost feel like people that I meet in tech, like at some point they have been burned out, if
yes,
not at the moment, right? And
yes,
so I think I borrowed that as I transitioned into my own business. And for the first 2 years, like I work and work and work because that's what I know, how to be so-called successful, right? So then I have my fair version of burnout. I'm like, I quit the tech job working for maybe, I don't know, 40, 50 hours. And now when I work for myself, like the boundary even become, more unclear. I'm like, hey,
Mhm.
like taking a holiday doesn't even feel like a day off for me. I bet many like a business owner can relate. So I think a lot as I evolve more like into my business, like instead of like working hard, right? And another big thing for me is from my culture conditioning is my dad always tell me, right? Learn from the expert, don't make mistake yourself. That's the quickest way, right? You can get to success. And I did that exactly. The first 3 years I learned from the best of the best, and so I learn, I experiment, and I almost feel like I have less room for myself to breathe. In a way, I'm like, wait a minute, like how can you become like this, right? I'm like trying to replicate almost like other people's success formula, whereas I feel like a part of me is like questioning it. But
Yeah.
then this year, actually end of last year was the year I was like really thinking about, man, if I already work for myself and I still feel like I cannot just follow what I feel like I want to do, if I cannot like show 100%, if I still like listen to other experts, then what's the point
Yeah.
of like working for myself? And
Yeah.
so as I kind of think about, okay, so if it's not that, like what do I want to, you know, use, who I am, like what's important to me. And this year it has been really evolved into, okay, it is actually play for me, right? And that idea, when I first learned, or I should say like play kind of found me. In a way it says, when, this is it. And I was like so confused and rejected it. I don't know if you have that kind of like visceral response. It was like, what play? That's the last thing pretty much. From the cultural conditioning, we will say, oh, all for you to play, even in your business. It
Mm-hmm.
almost seemed like crazy to me, but it
Mm.
just had me feel like so alive and excited.
I love
So I'm
that.
like, okay, I'm gonna play with it. Yeah, so I spent really like the first few months to like experiment, even like what play means to me, and also, yeah, how do I actually like use play as my business strategy, right?
Mm.
And the more I learn, what I landed on right now is, if you think about like kids playing at the playground, right? They're just so present.
Mm-hmm.
They don't question if this swing is, fun enough. They don't overthink. They
Yes.
just look, oh, that, I want to be on that. And they just go there and play, right?
Yeah.
They are so present in a way. Um, there is no attachment to the outcome, and they're just like enjoy the moment. And so I really learned from that. I really had me even reimagine, like, what does play look like in this adult playground that
Yes.
work, right? And in that sense, like, I realized, oh, that play for me actually is to be on the court with myself, one moment at a time. So what that means is, instead of like we almost like watching a basketball, at the stand, watching
Mhm.
other people's play, and we almost sometimes live our life like that, right? We look at ourselves do things almost like going through the motions,
Yes.
right? Without the real connection, without the real like, hey, let's get on the court and see what does, sweat look like, right? That good
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah. And then be with my truth, one moment at a time. So it's not thinking about, hey, what's next week, next month, or even next year would be. It's like, hey, at this moment, what can I play with, right?
Yeah.
What's the truth that I really want to share now? And this strategy, oh my God, has transformed so many things I do, even for outreach. As small business owner, especially like service provider, one of my job is to kind of keep right in connection with people, understand people's pinpoint, things like that, building that relationships. And I used to feel like, man, that's kind of like a thing that I need to check, right? This is
Yeah.
just something I need to do. But now I get to think, okay, what does being on the court, right? Being playful with my truth look like? So when I
Yeah.
make that initiation, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so excited. I get to talk to this person. I'm really curious, right, to learn about X, Y, and Z. And then when I get into, get into the field with them, right, I'm engaged, I'm present, and yeah, it has really transformed a lot of things that I do. So now, like, running and growing a business feel like so much easier, and in
Mm-hmm.
a way it doesn't really feel like as heavy like before. It doesn't really feel like work per se. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
what I think. That's why I put play there, to remind
I
myself,
love it.
almost like recondition myself to say, hey, play is the big thing now. It's in season. Let's do it.
It will always be popular. And I think that's a
Yeah,
great
yeah,
epiphany for all
yeah.
of us to have because there's so much learning in
Yes,
play. There's so much
yes,
development in play.
yeah.
Even sweating, like that teaches us discipline and perseverance, right? And
Hmm.
so, and play is great because, it helps you to change your minds, shift your mindset and truly embrace and be in the moment and love what you're
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah.
It's not work then. It is play. You're having fun and you're doing something great. So thank you for that. And then what
Yeah.
about love? The last one.
Yeah. Love. I will almost say that's the through line that I want for my life.
Mm,
Right. Like, I think when I actually, it was actually coaching. When I first started being coached, I always have a coach. But when I started being coached, it was the first time ever I really have the space for myself to understand myself, right? And I didn't even know like what self-love looked like back then,
mm,
right? Because
mm,
I leaned so much on the external validation, right? All those like good girl syndromes that I carry
mhm,
with myself, I basically kind of like outsourced, right? Like the love for myself from others. That's what I was seeking externally. And the more I work on myself, the more I understand actually, if I think about one thing, usually for myself and also for my clients, people come to me the most is, hey, I want to be more confident,
mhm,
right? And the catch there is, to me, the ultimate form of confidence is self-trust and self-love,
mm.
right?
Yeah.
When we have that, then we um, bring all the power back to us, right? If I can love myself, if I can trust myself, doesn't matter what happened, right? Then I have then the courage to say, right, everything will work out for me
Mhm,
and it will be fine, right? Even the place thing I mentioned earlier, that I need to have that trust of myself to say, hey, I know it's unknown, I know it's crazy, but let's see what happened, right? And I think I can only do that because I have spent so many years to really learn how to love myself, how
mm,
to give myself like what I need, right? Whenever I make important decisions that's really aligned with who I am and with what I want to create, not create anything from fear, which usually instantly makes me small, but
mm.
create, whatever I want from love. And that can be so many things, like love for adventures, right? Love for, I don't know, honesty, love for whatever, really, like even like showing up just as me. That's I think a great representation of self-love.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I truly believe that the world runs on love.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
That's what moves us forward and helps us to
Hmm.
navigate, right?
Yes.
This one life that we have. Um,
Yeah.
okay, so I'm gonna put you on the spot because on the background I also see a pride flag.
Yeah.
I promise we won't talk about your plant back there, though I do want to dissecting your background one thing at a time. Can you tell me a little bit more about that flag if it has a meaning to you?
Yeah, it does. Where do I even start? So I knew I'm a lesbian since I was in kindergarten. And growing up in Taiwan, like it wasn't something that's safe to talk about or celebrated. Like when I was young, I even need to like lie to my parents,
Mm,
right? So like for me, even my own revolution of accepting that I'm a girl and I like girls, and what does that mean to me, right? How do I not feel ashamed of it? How do I create the space I need, right, to still feel safe, right?
mm,
So when I was in college, the university, I actually created my first ever like kind of underground club for all the
mm.
queers in the
Look at
university.
you.
Yeah, and that was the first time I was like, oh my god, like I can breathe. It is okay to like girls. It is okay to be me. Um, but even then, like being a lesbian still feel very not safe,
Mm.
right? Like I created my own bubble, but outside of that, I always need to think about, hey, do I come out or not? Do I talk to people or not? Do I need to pretend, right? I don't have, a partner where when other people ask me, hey, you're old enough, you should have dated guys or whatever, right? Including my parents.
Mm-hmm.
So like a lot of that really like shape like how I feel, how open I feel like I can truly be myself. And it is also a revolution for me. I remember when I first moved to the US, I chose to be in San Francisco. Exactly because San Francisco is where I see on TV, where, gay people hold hands without being
Yeah.
judged. I was like, oh my God, that's a paradise to me. And that's actually one of the reasons why I moved to San Francisco. And even from there, I didn't even believe that I can have so-called like long lasting normal kind of like, in my mind, like marriage is so like far away from me. I didn't even think about that. But luckily, I think, US legalized gay marriage, and then Taiwan also legalized gay marriage after that, and I couldn't be prouder.
Mm.
Yeah, and there are a lot of, I guess, like my own family drama that I worked through in a way to really rethink about what, in a way, like going back to love, like what love in a true partner should look like to me. Right, I've been with my partner for 8 years before I proposed to her. But when we first started dating, I just told her, okay, I don't want to have kids and I don't want to get married. If you still want to be with me, then let's go. I told her. And then luckily, she's patient with me for me to kind of like go through my own growth. And so by the 8 years, I proposed to her and she was so shocked. She even like back off what's happening now.
Am I on camera? Is there like a
Yeah, is this a prank? Things
yeah.
like that. Yeah, and we got married like almost 2 years ago. Yeah, and so this year when the Pride months come, I really think about like, hey, like this is such an important part of me, and also such a big celebration of love for me, right? From like really rejecting like this important part of who I am to like, hey, I'm now like really happy, right,
Mm-hmm.
with my partner, and it's something to be celebrated,
Yeah.
right? So I put it up and I just never, get it down because I'm like, hey, that's part of me now.
Yeah.
So I
Well,
love
and if it's not
people
up
to
there, what are
see.
we going to talk about on our podcast, right?
I know, yeah.
I think that's amazing that you're living your authentic self. I know that takes
Mhm.
a lot of courage. It takes
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
It takes that sense of feeling safe to do.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I want to definitely thank you for sharing your story thus far. And you're so, like I said, multi-layered in, in the beginning in the intro.
Hmm.
You're a woman, you're an immigrant, you're an introvert, you're a lesbian, you're also in a male-centric
Yeah.
technology industry, or at least you
Hmm.
were before you switched to coaching.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you were a programmer, design,
Yeah.
I mean, whatever, but how does all of that, all of when
Hmm.
go into your approach for coaching, leadership coaching with your clients?
Such a great question. I feel like I navigated this myself so much. Now, um, I think especially nowadays, there are so many like programs and coaches, come out and sell like programs and 10-step framework, things like that. And while that's great, I think
Mhm.
that can satisfy people who want to learn. But I do feel like the deepest transformation
Mm,
really is in like learning to trust yourself, right? T- it's almost like connecting to the part of you who already know you are the expert in your life, right? So the way I approach coaching with my client is not like advising, it's not telling, it's not, well, sometimes maybe a little bit teaching because there are some like cultural conditionings, like I mentioned earlier,
yeah.
that we do need and want to like unwire, right, for ourselves. But most importantly to me is like, I don't want to like generalize what will work or not work for people. But I hold the space by asking like open-ended question
Mm,
for them to see themselves, right? And I do think that's the best way someone can really build that confidence and build up that self-trust,
mhm.
right? And the answer that really come from them is the one that will work,
Yeah.
right? And so for me, like other than being able to really resonate and really see deeply, I would say like my zone of genius really is to see what's not being said and what the root problem might be, and reflect that back to people, right? To see what really come up from themselves, and
Yeah.
from there, what is it that they want to consciously choose instead of just going by kind of like the default, right? So in a lot of way, my kind of multi-layer type of identity help me see the person as who they
Mm,
are. And I think ultimately that's what we all wanted, right? We want
yeah.
to be seen for who we are. And I think the other part is because of how I feel like small or like disadvantaged I was, and that I can be who I am now because of all the choices that I make, right? So now when I sit with people, I truly believe what's also possible for them that
Hmm.
they might not even see yet,
Yeah.
right? So I can be the partner on their journey of getting to their wildest dream that they, never even dare to think
Yeah.
about, right?
Yeah.
And really guide them using what works for them to create the life that they want. So that's why I think this way of coaching is more transformative, because once we start to learn and embody it and
Mm,
trust it in ourselves, right, then we can do that again and again and again instead
yes.
of relying on others to say, hey, tell me what to do now. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
great question.
You mentioned earlier about Pride Month and how wonderful it
Mhm,
is for you. How do you celebrate
mhm.
Pride, not just for the month, but like all year round?
How do I celebrate Pride the whole
Yeah.
year? Good question. I never thought about that.
Are there like
Yeah.
um, organizations or events that you participate in, that you're on the board of, that
Mhm.
volunteer at, or do you just embody it day by day, with intention?
Hmm.
Yeah, just kind of curious.
Yeah. So the interesting thing is, because I all those identities, they are all part of me, right? So in a way, like now it's so integrated.
Hmm.
I don't think, I guess, like much about, hey, I need to do this, like
Right. So you're
specifically
not
for what.
compartmentalizing.
Right. So I do have like nonprofits that I volunteer for. It can be like, helping refugees, right, with interviews, help them to get back to job market. It can
Hmm.
be, I don't know, like all the identity related kind of collision work that I do for them for free, right? It can be so many different ways. But like you said, like whenever I see opportunities where I can add value, right, to the groups that I
Mm-hmm.
truly care about, then, I make it happen.
Yeah.
As for celebration, I really see that, especially um, being being a lesbian, um, I almost feel like the way I celebrate is I don't hide myself. I don't hide our love. If you're
Yeah.
on LinkedIn, if you follow me, then you will see me like posting my photos, my stories with my partner, right?
Mm,
Because the thing is, because I hide so much of myself in the past, right? And now it's almost like as I accept and being more open as me, and celebrating love, right? I almost feel like just being me, and being open about it really give people permission, right, to say, hey, you can do this too. And usually those are the type of posts that people really feel like, oh my god, I love to see you talk about this, because we never seen other people, right? Because representation matters. That's
yeah.
why I think, like, when I said yes, right, to be on podcast or to be somewhere like speaking, one thing I do think about is representation does matter, right? Especially like coming from my background, like when I work in tech, I really feel like I don't see other people like me,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I don't have a role model, and just make it so much harder to believe that, something like, I don't know what's the success that I can achieve when I don't see a new model, a
Mm-hmm.
role model, right?
Yeah.
So then I know, well, I need to kind of be the one. So in that sense, I'm like, as I embrace every part of me, I really speak a lot more about, hey, this was me and this is me, right? And if I can do this, you can do it too. It's not easy, but then to me, it's almost like the reward for showing up fully is it's actually my life.
Yeah.
Right? I don't need
I-
to live someone else's expectation. It is my life that I get to live. Yeah.
yeah. That's a beautiful answer.
Thank you.
To unapologetically be your
Mhm.
authentic self,
Mhm.
show up for yourself. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's the best way, honestly, to be able to celebrate
Mhm.
parts of our identity, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So see, it wasn't such a hard question.
You make it easy.
So how do you define success for your clients? I mean, I understand every client is different
Mhm.
and they have different goals when they come to you to,
Mhm.
seek coaching, but what does success look like for them?
Wow. Usually when we start a coaching partnership, I'll always ask them, hey, what's the game do you want to play?
Mm,
Right? And instead of, hey, what's the goals you want to reach? Right? Because in a way, the old way of like goal settings, like the SMART goal is great, but at the same time, like immediately it creates this gap, right?
mm,
Oh, we're not there yet, right?
mm,
and
mm.
and I always feel like I'm short of my goals, right? And
Yeah.
the moment that we reach it,
Hmm.
then we create another goal. It's like a moving goalpost, right?
Yes.
So, and instead of that, I always ask them, hey, like, what's the game that you want to play, right? A game that we play can still be specific, right? Can still have all this like measurable things like that. But then what's most important is we focus on the progress, right? What we can learn throughout the experience. So when we play the game again, we are in the present moment, and
Mm,
whatever happened give us information to learn about ourselves, about the situation, and how to make our next best decisions, right? So those games that we play and usually when I coach people, it's not only about like their career, although most people come to me for their career or their business. So we do have like career or business oriented goals, and like, getting that promotions, I don't know, like really establish their business, and have like 3,000 first months in their new business. So we do have goal, like games like that we're playing. But at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, what I always aim for is who we are becoming in the process of playing that game, right? Who do we need to be? So I not only operate at a senior manager or senior director level, right? Who do I need to be as a leader? So I show up already, demand that attention, demand the room with clarity, with how I really want to show up to lead, right? And that's the transformation I'm looking for. And similarly, right, as a business owner, if they want to create 3,000 in their first month, is
Yeah.
that who do you need to be to show up and talk to your potential client to say, hey, this is what value I can offer to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they transition from like shining away from talking about themselves, or even like making proposals, asking for money, to, hey, I can only create impact when I have a business, when
Mm-hmm.
I can be sustainable. And this actually even happened like in my own playful solo communities. Just like 2 3 coaching sessions, people start to actually ask their pro bono clients to convert them to paid clients.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So things like this, I think it's a lot more about who we're becoming, such that the so-called the goals that we want to reach, like those external goals, become inevitable,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's just bound to happen because who we are becoming right now.
Yeah.
And that's, to me, like the best way, the most I want to see from my clients. And I will always call that out. I'm like, hey, you are already show up so differently. I have a client who I define as doing hybrid, meaning like she still work full time and on the side building her own business,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the self trust that we talked about earlier, like she built enough self trust while working with me to be bold enough to actually say no to a contract that was about to be extended, knowing that that's not the environment that she wants,
Mm-hmm.
right? And once she made that decision, it was like really scary to not know like where the next job will be. But then
Yeah.
she rejected anyways, even when the employer kind of keep coming back to her. She's like, no, I'm clear, this is not for me, right? And
Yeah.
then within a month she told me she got an offer to another job that's much much more aligned with what she wants to do, with the role that she's like really excited about, while giving her the bandwidth and the
Mm-hmm.
headspace to really build her side business, right?
Yeah.
And to me, yes, I'm happy for her, right, to have a new role that that's more like aligned with what she wants. But for me, the most thing that I celebrated with her is, man, see that boldness, see that courage to
Mm-hmm.
trust yourself,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so when you do this once, trust your intuition, trust that everything will work out in the end, and you become the person, right, who can make that bold decision. And when
Yeah.
you do that again and again and again, whatever comes after it is like,
And the world is your oyster at that point.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So I would say, yeah, that's what I'm celebrating. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing one of your
Mhm.
clients' stories because
Yeah.
that's so inspiring. And I've been coached in the past
Mhm.
before, whether it be leadership coaching or life coaching or just
Mhm.
how to organize my closet coaching. Like, and what I love about what all the things you're saying is you have identified a gap in all
Mhm.
the coaching styles, I think.
Mhm.
And that gap really is what makes you unique and different. And what that gap is, I believe, is it's not okay, these are the things that you need to do to get from point A to point B or whatever your goal is. It
Mm-hmm.
really is changing you, elevating you to the level that you need to be,
Yeah.
right? Because we already inherently, I think, have it within us. We just need to tap into it and figure out how to do that. But
Yeah.
that's where you come in. You identify that
Mm-hmm.
part of us that we need to
Mm-hmm.
step into
Yeah.
to achieve the goals. And I love also that these are, I don't know, when I feel like I'm getting my own coaching and therapy session with you right now. But I feel like, part of it is like a choose your own adventure thing. If
Mm-hmm.
you decide that, okay, I'm going to choose this door, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're already somewhat fully committed, and you just got to follow that path to see where it takes you. And if it's not the path that you want, that you define for yourself, then it's okay to pivot.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Sometimes you
Totally.
have to take that step back to take another step forward and choose another
Mm-hmm.
for yourself. But anyways, that's really, really beautiful, and I really appreciate that a lot.
Thank you.
Um, okay, so here's a question for you. What are the most common challenges you see among immigrants or LGBTQ plus clients
Mm-hmm.
in their professional environments, and how do you help them navigate those challenges?
Mm. the the first biggest one that immediately come up is the need to be liked,
Mm,
right? In order to be liked, I think actually it has nothing wrong, right? Like in a way, being liked is important, right? We don't want other people to not like us, and as we grow up, I almost feel like that's the survival instinct, right?
mm-hmm.
That we grew up with, and it does help us, get to where we might be, right? And the biggest issue there is when our focus is on being liked. Um, in a way, we let other people almost like direct our own agenda almost. And I think about that because so many people, especially in the corporate world, as they want to work on, say, their promotion, right? A very common thing I see is being like, so they don't really step up, like I said, as the leader that they need to be, right? To
Mm-hmm.
perform at the next level. When you just want to be liked, you basically do whatever, or you do whatever you think other people want you to do.
Yeah.
And that's totally like defeating the purpose, right? As a real leader who can bring impact, there's so many things you probably need to challenge, push
Mm-hmm.
back, right? And to really call out. And when we focus on being liked, that's not gonna cut it. And people feel that too. And I experienced this myself as well, when I actually stop saying yes to everything, which only leads to burnout,
Yes.
and start pushing back, right? And I actually find people respected me more,
Mm.
and this is crazy. I'm like, okay, I always thought that pushing back people won't like me, but then actually they respect me more because I have my point, right? And this is even very similar as I head into like coaching business as well, right? Like as a coach, like especially initially, I'm like, I need people to like me or respect me or whatever in order to want to work with me, right? But when I hold that thought in any of my conversation, I am not present with them, right?
Mm.
Immediately, I'm just say what you like to hear,
Mm.
right? Instead of what you need to hear or what might piss people off. Yeah, and even like taking that risk of like offending people because there's something that they need to hear, right? So as I also work on myself in transforming myself in my business, and this actually perfectly fit into when I say being on the core with my truth, right? Like, do I care about you, and willing to take a stand for you to say the things that I think you need to hear, even if that means you don't like me.
Mhm.
Am I willing to go there? Right.
Mm.
And,
Yeah.
and and I usually find that when I stop wanting to be like, when I really start really sharing what I truly believe, what I see, right, from you, and reflect that back to you and ask the
Yeah.
hard question. And the funny thing is, people's response is usually not like dramatic. They're like, huh.
Yeah.
And then they pause because they're thinking they've never been challenged this way. And
Mhm.
oh man, that's just so fun for me.
Hence the play.
Yes, hence the
Game. What game are
play.
we achieving today? Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Hmm.
Okay, so I think one thing we didn't talk about yet are your
Hmm.
books.
Okay.
Yeah, let's talk about your books. I think
Mhm.
you have more than one book. Is that correct?
Right now I have one. I think I have many books in my head, but it's not out on paper yet. Maybe I need to, talk to
Tell
you
tell us
more.
about the one book then. Let's
Yeah,
start there.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, the book, it is also so interesting. I never really admitted to myself that I'm a writer. Like I said, like I've been like hiding myself so much that it's almost like self-expression almost seemed like a privilege to me.
Mm,
And as I started my own coaching business, I it took me 3 years to write my first blog post. 3 years when I after I promised to like the coach who coached me at the time. I'm like, okay, I think to build my business, I need to, write consistently and share what I learned. But it is just so, I don't know, like speaking about like professional and things. But anyways, so after I started writing, I just keep
mhm,
writing. So I've been writing for like 4 years now. And the book actually was from like a connection who uh, introduced the publisher to me and say, hey, when sounds like your experience can be great, right, to share in that book. And initially I was like, what? Oh, because I don't see myself, right, as a published author.
mm.
And that's
What's the
when
title of the book?
yeah, the book, let's see, I have it here. It's Inspiring Woman Professional Who Bust Up.
Yes.
Okay, so it's a collective, and I actually enjoyed it. One of the reasons I still say yes to publishing this book, one is see the face.
Yes.
As I talked about earlier,
Yes.
representation matters,
Hmm.
right? So when I talked to the publisher, I looked at their past series. I'm just like, hey, it doesn't really feel like it represents me, right? Because it's a woman who busts up. And so there are a lot of like drawings in the book that almost feel like it's very stereotyping, right? So
Hmm.
like this part
Yes.
where right it's like woman in business suit, things like that. And I just say, it doesn't look like me. And I love the publisher. Like she actually asked me like, hey, so what do you think will represent you, right? And then we actually kind of gone back and forth, and I gave her like a few like images, and then this is what she came out with. So basically, with the rainbow stripe in front,
Hmm.
and almost like a woman superhero, short hair kind of thing. um yeah, and this makes me really happy because I'm like, I often hesitated when I go to like all woman event because I
Hmm.
feel like I'm the only one look like this. Right. And in a lot of ways, like, wearing suits instead of those like really beautiful rosy kind of like dress, I feel out of place.
Hmm.
Right. And one of the reason I want to be and share my story in this book is to also share my identity, right? It is okay to look different and be different,
Yeah.
and my story also adds value, right, to people. So that's why I, very in the end, like very happily to be an author of this book and connected with so many other like women as well. Yeah,
That's wonderful.
yeah.
Well, for listeners who feel like they have to mask parts of
Mm-hmm.
themselves,
Mm-hmm.
whether at work or with their family, friends, whatever, their community, what is one small step? What advice can you give them? One small step that they can
Yeah.
take toward living life more authentically.
Ah, such a big question. I feel like to me, it's like you said, it's so many small steps, right? From the first time I came out to someone, to a friend that I really trust, and know that okay, she's still my friend. Nothing changed, right? So it's great that someone know who I am and still want to be friend with me, to like building my own like underground club in the university, knowing that oh, there are actually a bunch of us, right? And then moving to San Francisco, I actually learned this from my another like lesbian friend. When I first moved here, she would just like casually introduce to me, hey, this is my girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
So she just like came out like that. I'm like, whoa. And to me, when I don't feel safe, right, the decision of coming out is very like deliberate. And I was like, oh, so being gay can be something like as easy as that. And of course, like I need to feel like I'm in a safe space. So at that time, I'm already like in San Francisco, in the tech companies. It's actually very open minded, so I feel safe to. And the moment I start to, say a little bit more about myself and learn that oh, people actually are still open and accept me. I think that's kind of like it's like a confidence build up, right? And small step, the more I come out, the more I'm like, oh, it is actually okay. It is actually safe. And also for whoever don't resonate with me, that's fine too. They're not my people,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I learned to let that go as well. So I know not everyone is in a safe environment, but I will start with people who already have built that trust with you, where you are, um, you know, like you want to really share this part of you, and that's important to you. Then I would say share and kind of see what happened.
Yeah.
Because truly, I don't have anyone who I actually share so far actually say like no, don't do this, actually, other than my parents. But again, right, it takes them time, right, to actually say hey, I'm whoever you're with, as long as you're happy, we're happy, right? So I think it takes time also for the other people that you talk to actually almost like process the information for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So like in that sense, I would also say like, give yourself and people the grace when
Mm-hmm.
we feel like the urge to tell our truth with someone who we believe in, like someone we trust. I think it is okay, and even if initially it might not be the result that we want, give them some time. Because I think once I show my color, right, once I put myself out there, I almost feel like going back is not an option for me, right? So like it's very similar. It's like once I start working for myself, I don't see going back to work for others as an option, because I'm just like I love this version of me who can breathe, right,
Mm-hmm.
who has so much more freedom and creativity. Like I don't think that going backward is the other is an option. And that's the same for me as being gay, as like really sharing like any part of myself. The more I share, the more I'm like, oh, this really feel aligned with my mind, with my body, with my spirits, and I just be so much happier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You actually gave 2 great advice, so tips. Thank you.
No
Always
problem.
the overachiever. I asked for 1, you give me 2.
Ouch! You caught me. I always say like I'm a recovering overachiever still.
Well,
Yeah.
as we wrap up, I've got a few rapid fire questions for you.
Okay.
So just answer whatever comes to your mind. Ready?
Okay.
Okay. What's one book that changed your life?
7 Habits for highly what's that? Highly effective people. This is my first self-development book.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's a good book.
Yeah.
One word that describes your journey so far.
Oh wow, one word. Experimenting.
Okay.
Yeah.
What does living at your own Quixotic Heights mean to you?
Believing whatever I want to create is possible.
Powerful. Last thing, what will tomorrow bring?
Love and joy and play.
And leap and
And leap. Yes.
yes, I love it. All right. Are there any topics that you want to cover that we didn't cover before we wrap up?
I think this is really good. I do have one thing. I think like as a girl growing up in Taiwan in a family of like parents only want boys. And I think my own like revolution in terms of like feeling that I'm not enough at birth to now actually like really embracing who I am. I think that's a very important shift for me. But I also feel like that might be another, I don't know, another podcast, another
Yes,
episode.
we can definitely have you back and we can dissect that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great. Yeah, thank you so much. This has been so much fun for me.
Thank you. Where can people find you and follow you to get more information?
Yeah, I am on LinkedIn. So if you go to LinkedIn, and I believe you will have show notes.
Yes.
Yeah, I mostly post my thing on LinkedIn and also Substack. Those two, Substack where I post more of the long form, like sharing like what I learned, like in my own experience and what I see in my clients. And that's where I feel like I can really give back and share and add value freely. So if you want, follow me there. That would be probably good way to learn about me and see how my no filter type of writing can impact you.
You can turn all those Substack posts into a book. See, there's book
Yeah, maybe.
2.
Yeah.
Okay, well, wonderful. So that's a wrap, listeners. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Quixotic Heights. And I hope Wen's journey reminds you that your story in all its complexity is your superpower. So if you find this episode meaningful, please do take a moment to rate, review, and share it with someone who needs the encouragement today. You can connect with Wen and more about her work, Wen Coaching, in the show notes. And until next time, keep pursuing your Quixotic heights with courage and curiosity. Thank you so much. And thank you, Wen, for joining us today.
Thank you, Amy.